And welcome to the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I am your host, Dougie Almeida. This is coming live from Simpsonville, South Carolina, where I'm blending in. It's going to be a fun show today, although it's, who knows? I mean, we live in a world now that, the minute you turn on the TV, what's next? And I'm going to talk about that today. But I have two comedian friends of mine who are going to, I don't know, somehow try to take the real day and find humor. And that's what this show's about. We're all comics and we all know we're all living through the same shit. So let's just try to see how we handle it. Today's guests on the show, comedians Dustin, Chavin, and Larry Venturino. Welcome, fellas.
What's up, Dougie?
What's up, buddy?
Well, we were talking before the show, a little pre-show. We're getting all our audio and everything going. And then we're like, we had topics, we had things chosen. And then, of course, another school shooting. And you know what I mean? I'm like, first of all, I think as comics, can we agree it might not be a good idea to do school shooting jokes in towns that just had school shootings?
Yeah, I think we can agree,
it depends. I think you can, depends on the comic, I think Sam Kinison could have done it. I think, Doug Stanhope can do it. I think, you have to be very gifted, I think there's a certain, most comics aren't that gifted.
Now, let me ask you this, Dustin, because Dustin's out of all of us is the veteran comic in the boxes on the screen, and as a coach, he's mentored, helps people write, and does a lot of that work. He's awesome,
sure,
and he's blowing up. We're gonna get all into this shit. You're doing great. So I'm so proud when I see people just that fucking work, and then all of a sudden things start putting together.
Thanks, buddy.
But you got it. And one of the people that you actually worked with, Pete Davidson, who we're going to talk about today, is a gentleman I actually the first time I ever met him was with you in the Broadway Comedy Club when he went in and did a spot years ago, and I said, nice. Holy shit, this guy's funny as fuck. He's like 18, whatever it was. I'm like, God damn it, fuck, this guy's
he's already banging hot chicks. He's like he's on a bringer show. He's already banging like 16 hot models.
Was he the man king back then too?
Oh yeah. Just some guys just have a way with women, man. And has nothing to do with fame. That guy was already crushing. He was the guy he's 16. He's showing us pictures of 24-year-old girls. We're like, what?
I got confused. I thought you were talking about me for a second, and I was like, oh my God, sorry about that.
Yeah,
I get confused for a second.
None of us got game like Pete Davidson. Yeah,
that big dick
you look
energy,
like a hairless gorilla, and you're still getting chicks. So he's got something figured out.
Yeah,
it is weird, but getting back to the comedy aspect of it.
Sure.
The structure of a joke. What do you think of some of the components of doing that? Like being like, finding just as a personal example, I do a joke. My father had Parkinson's, so it took me a while to figure out the wording, how to structure it, so it wasn't insulting. But it actually, in the end of the joke turns out to me being celebrating my father. You know what I mean? What are the components of the joke that What are some of the things you think it's got to be or have in it?
Well, I think when it's, some sort of topic that's, going to make people upset, or if it's something that, some tragedy or something like that, I think there's a couple of ways to go with it. Obviously, a personal aspect, some sort of, personal feeling behind it, even if it's like a news headline, like your anger could be, kind of the motivation for the joke. So like, because I remember when the terrorist attacks, we were doing shows at 9:15, we were doing comedy shows, and we felt like we had to kind of get up and start doing comedy again. And a lot of it was just kind of, how we felt as Americans and love each other and just try to get through this. And there was ways we went around it to be able to talk about it. And it was really, we found that place, which was, brotherhood or whatever it was. But you can talk about anything, man. You just gotta, you just have to be good at it and find a personal touch on it. You can't. It's got to be. It affects you somehow. You got to put that in there. If you just do some blatant joke where you're just being, attacking and trying to be funny about a shooting or something, but there's nothing personal. But if you said something like, "Hey, I remember my brother, shot the kid in the neighborhood on accident," or you have some story that can relate somehow, I think you could do it that way. But anything can be funny, man. How many Hitler jokes are out there? You know what I mean? Anything can be funny. Like it's like you just have to be good at it, and it has to come, you got to be a real person. Yeah.
people tackle the cancer joke. I've seen people fail miserably trying to do a cancer joke, which is, it's, hey, white, rape jokes,
I've seen people crush cancer jokes and rape jokes.
Yeah.
I think Big J. Okerson has the best rape joke of all time. He had some, I'm going to slaughter it, but he had some joke. He said, this girl told me when we were in a bar talking together that a song came on, and it was Freebird. And she said, I can't listen to this song. It's horrible because I got raped to this song. And then he says, oh, that's terrible. And then he tells us as the audience, he said, two things. First of all, rape is a horrible thing. And second of all, that's a really long song. And it was just the way he did it was just funny because he put it into how long that song was. And so he found a way to make it funny. So I think he can make anything funny. Is be a good comic, man. That's the rule. This would be a good comic. Yeah. These hacks aren't doing it right, but a good comic can do it.
And I agree too. Like, just to kind of chime in about something that's like more personal to you, and my previous comment too about like I'm just not going to roll into a town and talk about something like that. It's not really my style for what I'm doing. But by day, I'm a social worker and I work with child abuse. Another fun topic, right? And a lot of my material stems from some of the stuff I've dealt with and heard and have experienced and whatnot. And the thing about those is that I have to dumb down the level of what horrible things have happened to people, because if I told a joke about what actually happens sometimes, people wouldn't even believe it for the most part. So I have to even dumb the reality that's facing a lot of people down so that the plurality of the people that are in the crowd will, okay, that makes sense that something like that could happen. Well, I've heard things that like you wouldn't even believe, the equivalent of a personal own like school shooting, like that happens to them every single day of their lives. You know what I mean? And the reason I talk about it is because it's personal to me. I've seen it. I see how it affects people. But also I try to not make light of it, but kind of like almost like spread awareness through the jokes, I guess, if that makes sense. But
it's like make people think about things a little differently. And absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly. Since we're talking about it, Pete Davidson decides to leave Saturday Night Live. At this point, why not? Look at him. But would you guys, would that be something you guys would do? Would you like to do Saturday Night Live, and would you be prepared to audition on Saturday Night Live?
I would. I'll go first. I'd be exactly like Pete Davidson. I wouldn't be good at any impressions. They would barely use me. But I would probably crush on Weekend Update because that's more of the stand-up element.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of do a monologue. You can kind of pick a topic. You can kind of play off of the two guys. And that's what they did. He found a way. He wasn't good at impressions or anything, and so he found. But he's a good rapper and stuff. Like he found his, what he was good at, and they kind of, just highlighted that. But that kid does. That he wants to do other stuff. He's already has like 4 movies and two movies coming out, and it's like I think after a while, it's like. You want to just move and do other things. Everybody eventually, goes to the next level. I think it's ridiculous that we're focusing in on him and, not the other people who were actually more of the staple of the show. What's her name? McKinnon or whatever?
Yeah.
The other person?
Yeah.
McKinnon? What's her name? I don't know.
The blonde chick who does those annoying Verizon
the blonde
commercials.
Chick she does way more than that. She's hilarious. Dude.
I know.
She's
that's how I remember.
Really talented.
She's
just we're all misogynists. That's why.
I'm just saying. If we don't label us as misogynists now. Listen. You do it on me because you can get away and say I was only kidding with the fat boy, and but he knows. But I'm just saying, like if it was a dude, I'd say that smug dude.
See, you're acting like a sensitive audience right now.
I am not
trying to be silly.
Don't cancel me.
You're becoming that audience that you complain about. Last night I did a show. Last night I did a show in Gastonia, North Carolina,
And as a comic, it's
Yeah.
always interesting when the booker says we want to do 45 minutes PG-13. Larry, what is your version of PG-13?
Probably just not saying the F word, and maybe just no vulgar words at all. Just maybe some innuendo and everything, but no swearing.
Yeah. Dustin?
I mean, this is something I'm dealing with as we speak. This is something that I am working on getting better at. I have the privilege of working with people like Nate Bargatze, and his audiences his special was G-rated on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the few specials that's G-rated. And so his audiences are amazing. It's 5,000 people sometimes, and you're up there. And then a lot of times you see kids. And I'm an edgy guy. I was raised by Dave Attell and all that just riffraff in New York City. And so, we're doing late shows with drunk people. It's like, we ain't got time to be PG-13. Like, we have to, it's survival mode. Like, I'm going to go after the jugular. I'm going to be racist. I'm going to talk about smoking weed. I'm going to, so it's like, you can't help yourself. And so now I just did a dry bar special, and it was pretty exciting. It was great. But I tell you, I'm glad there was 2 shows, because the first show was like, okay, we're going to have to cut that. And we're going to have to cut that. And it wasn't dirty stuff. Here's my problem. I have no problem being dirty. I mean, clean. I could be clean. I cannot.
Wait a minute. You can't even say you're clean because you said you're dirty. I'm really dirty. I'm
stuttering through it. But it's the racy stuff I have a problem with. It's the edge I have a problem with. Because a lot of times when they tell you to be PG, they mean don't talk about Muslims, don't talk about this, don't talk about drug use, don't talk about. So there's a lot of stuff that we think is clean because we're all dirtbags,
right.
And so we're just like, that's. I did some lines off a mirror, or what like in our heads that's clean because we're not saying.
I didn't say fuck.
Some girls.
I didn't say I did fucking lines.
So it is something that I'm struggling with.
Yeah, the interesting thing, by the way, is this PG, like you said, PG. To me, it should just be PGR. Okay, and because PG-13. You ever met my 13-year-old nephew? He's a fucking freak. You know what I mean? So if it's based on his 13-year-old state at the moment, I could say fuck and talk about finger banging, and it'll be appropriate. It's just a weird thing, dude. You're right. And I'm similar to that. I don't have dirty jokes, but some of the content I have is a little edgy in that, and it pushes things, you know what I mean? And
so you're like me. You like get racy jokes about race and stuff. So yeah, those are the things that I end up getting in trouble with. And then the whole time I'm doing this job, I was like, I could say midget, right? And they're like, so it was just constantly like
just a little bit though,
just a little. See what I can slide in. There you go. Just see what I can slide in, and I was just like, But yeah, it's interesting though.
You're right, Dougie. Though, if you turn on like a PG-13 movie or TV show nowadays, I mean, back in when we were kids, that was it's ridiculous. So to be in a club and expect that to be cleaner than that's a little bit ridiculous. And then we live in a society like every single thing that people talk about is about race, and so as a comedian, you can't touch upon race and ethnicity and your own personal experiences. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't even think about that as something that wasn't clean. I mean, if I was told like don't be
late night, you got to think about late night.
Yeah.
So you can't do any of that stuff on late night. I mean, remember Bill Hicks? Right. They didn't air his thing about Jesus, and so you got to think about it like that, because a lot of it is if you refer back to late night. I mean, that's technically what a lot of these guys are trying to tell you to do. But
I can tell you,
my
the
first
45 minutes.
Good.
The 45 minutes I did last night was not PG-13 based on that standard. But like I think you said, to wrap that, like we'll say that they were laughing, so it didn't matter. Everybody was just like, it was well done. It wasn't just But that dry bar thing is very difficult because it's got no religion, no sex, no politics, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
very difficult.
I would be the dude. That must have been. Can I say dick if it's my friend?
I mean, we'll see if they air it.
Yeah.
So I got my check. Hopefully they air it. But no, but it's it's good practice for us. And my whole rule is like I will only be clean if you pay well. Like I hate there's sometimes people will be like, hey man, there's $100. Could you be clean? I was like, no, dude, I'm not gonna be clean for less than
Yeah,
$1,000. You know what I mean? Like you can't just pay crap money and then want me to
yeah,
just hate myself while I'm on stage for 45 minutes.
that's a
That's the
great
thing.
point.
That's a good rule to me as a
And-
vet to pass on. If
yeah,
you bump the money up when they tell you they want you to be clean. It's like
I,
it's
I did the
because it's
same
not
thing.
worth it because you're not having
I had
fun.
a I had a venue that reached out to me about booking the room, and they wanted it to be clean. I'm like, well, you know what? First of all, that you just took 80% of the comics I can hire away. Not that they wouldn't do it, but that's why. And I said, well, how much? And I said, well, this is how much. And I went, oh, that much? I go, if you want a clean show every once or
Yeah,
twice a month, absolutely,
yeah,
because that takes me a lot of work, and I got to find the people, and you know,
dude.
Yeah.
I ran a club in Utah. It was called Fat, Dumb, and Happy's. That was the name of the comedy club, and I was booking it from New York City.
sounds like the three
We
of
ran it
us.
for yeah. Am I happy? All right. So
I just know I'm the fat one. I can tell you that.
and I was booking New York comics, and they were a lot of them were headlining for the first time, and a lot of them were clean for the first time. I got Gino Bisconte, guys like that, to be clean for an hour, and so it was just like they
Wow.
had never done that in there ever, and it was really interesting because it was like a bunch of Mormon kids, and they were able to kind of figure it out. But when the money's good, you figure it
Yeah,
out.
that's a great point.
It's like that's
But
because a lot of comics they want to get paid well and they want a headline, and so it's like you can piece it together and make it work for you. But it should definitely be worth your while.
Yeah.
the weird thing about like I know I'm much younger than you guys, but when I was growing up, no,
Not
I'm
that
just kidding.
much.
But I know, just kidding.
Wait a minute.
But
How old are you, fucking Larry? Hold on a second there.
I'm
How old are you,
23,
Larry?
23, I think.
No,
23.
you're not.
No, I'm
What the fuck are you
43.
talking about?
43.
All right.
Oh, dude.
But no, seriously,
Yeah,
yeah.
fucking.
But when you're growing up, like when I was growing up, it seemed like the whole world was like prude and like so pure, things like that. And you would go to stand-up comedy to hear the dirty stuff, to hear the edgy
Yeah.
stuff, right? Now we live in a world that's completely filthy, immoral, crazy shit going on, and they're looking to comedians to be clean all the time. Like it seems like that. I don't know. That's just my perspective on it. It just seems like it's backwards, you know?
No, absolutely. I mean, stand-up comedy is supposed to be the speakeasy. It's supposed to be the place where
Yeah.
you hear, the things you don't talk about at work, things you don't laugh about
Yeah.
at church. Like it's
Mhm.
just, that's your escape. But
Yeah.
people have forgotten
I,
that. So
Yeah.
that's a great point. I think it's great, but I'm trying to write my own stuff for that. I'm working on my own scripted for the dry bar opportunity, and but it's just funny, because you sit there, go to an open mic, you write a new joke. Oh, that's another dirty one. That's another. I can't. Shit, that's a good joke, but I can't put it on dry bar.
yeah. If they air
That's
mine, I think it's gonna destroy the whole thing. So
dude. That is funny. You said
it's gonna be interesting.
that's funny. You said that because Casey Pruski, South Florida comic out of Fort Pierce, his went up and it's funny, and he's always had a reputation to be a clean comic. So, but he's
Yeah.
up and it's a wait because once they film it, then you have to wait till it comes out and then they distribute it and then you hope you get the views.
Yeah.
It could be a stressful process. You know what I mean? While you're waiting for
Yeah.
that and then as comics, when things like that happen and we don't have answers of why, our mind starts saying, "Oh, I suck. They don't like me. I'm being blacklisted.
Yeah.
I probably pissed somebody off once." Um, you know. Well, if it isn't enough to be worried about, now Monkey Pox is out, and
Good segue.
I just thought, I would look down at my finger. I said, "Is that a monkey pox?" Is it, with something like this, Dustin, you've got to be happy you're not in New York. Whenever you hear about anything that resembles anything, you got to think, I'm just glad I'm not in New York right now.
Yeah, but it's not like I chose Montana. You know what I mean? I'm in Los Angeles, California. So it's
No,
like,
exactly.
there's a lot of monkeypox energy happening here as well.
Yeah.
But not being on the subway and stuff and not being so close to people, I mean, that's what I do like about LA is I can get in my car and drive away from the monkeypox. But yeah, I don't miss that, compact way of life.
I bet.
That's definitely why I left.
A conspiracy friend of mine says this is planned. It's like supposedly word has it that monkeypox in Europe spread at a big rave, and they're trying to blame it a little bit on the gay community. As if any other type
I've done
of
this
sex.
before.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's interesting, his theory is that they want to keep. Why would a terrorist go and blow up a building when they just get a few terrorists to catch monkeypox and go blow a few dudes at a rave? Who knows? I mean, what
does monkeypox do? Does it kill you? Does it bring you down?
I think I read it could be fatal for 1 out of 10 people, but for the most part, it's a zit popper's dream. You got these big postulates.
Break out. Wow.
Yeah, you look like. I mean, it's not pretty. You definitely don't want to say you had monkeypox. I mean, I think if you're single and you caught monkeypox and somebody asked you, did you ever have Yeah, I had monkeypox. I think they're gonna go, have a nice night. But I'm just saying that there isn't enough. And here's a story I wanted to give you guys attention because when I hear that, is there a conspiracy? Are there things people working behind the shadows? But here's a story that this is an interest. This goes under the radar. A moth species not seen since 1912 was intercepted at a Detroit airport. Ben, I think we got the story up. But this the guy says this was a guy from the Philippines, and he said, "Oh, I was going to make tea with it, but it was the larvae. It was the larvae of the moth, and this moth can just completely disrupt and destroy the farmlands of our country." Tactical moves. You ever think about shit like that, fellas?
Yeah, I just
one suitcase of the larvae is going to kill the whole United States farmland.
Well, it's the larvae. These are insects. They reproduce, and they, next thing you know, you got to, next thing you're going out, you
mothballs. Just throw a bunch of mothballs on the farmlands of America. Just a bunch of mothballs. They should be taken care of immediately.
Yeah,
that's it. It's over.
It's a hailstorm. It's a hailstorm, Martha. Fuck! It smells like mothballs.
Yeah. I just think of the Silence of the Lamb when I see that. Like that movie creeped me out with all the moths and that. Just some dude naked, just like walking around. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think people are generating all this stuff. I guess that's what happens when you have the internet. Yeah. The internet allows us to do all these things. We can figure out how to make horrible ways to bring the world down. But didn't we have some giant grasshopper things that were killing the wasps or something? What happened to those?
Yeah,
remember that angry wasp?
That didn't last long at all. Yeah. That didn't last long at all.
They're going to kill us.
No,
murder
hornets.
Murder hornets.
Where'd the murder hornets go?
I think they're working at the drive-thru. I think they're working at the drive-thru at fucking Burger King. I don't know what it was on Sunday when I was driving. I think I was driving from St. Pete. I tried to go to a couple drive-thrus to pick up something to eat, and it was like an hour wait. I ended up driving, getting off 8 stops on the way home. Any rate. I
think it's all fictitious news cycle as well. I don't believe our news cycle.
I just, all I know is expect anything nowadays. I mentioned this. There is a conspiracy theory, the big one a lot of people are talking about. And I have a really good friend of mine that said to me, "Hey, Doug, I know this guy. He's connected." And my friend I'm talking to is he's not a loon. You know what I mean? This guy's.
Oh, and I believe you're connected. And of all the people I know, I believe that Dougie is connected.
Nah. I'm a comedian, man. I'm a comedian. I'm a fiduciary.
He's got a point. He's got a point.
Sanitation. Yeah. Just sanitation.
just stop asking questions. But he mentioned that, and all the way to a well-known source. Supposedly, the conspiracy theory is that the U.S. government is going to declare an alien attack on the White House, and so the whole country goes under martial law just before the November elections. The thing is, now if it happens, you're like, it's all bullshit, right? How many people are going to go, "Oh, it's bullshit," then?
Yeah. Can we join the aliens?
Well,
or no? Can we?
I mean, that's why we've been saying put the wall up for. I mean, how many years have we been talking about the wall to keep the alien?
The ceiling.
We need to get like a missile attack system, like missile attack. Like we got to get that. We got to have a guy on a ball, and here comes an alien. Like try to hit another missile up.
I
Yeah.
think we need the aliens. I think we need another
Yeah.
species. This one's done, dude. Like we're
Yeah.
killing elementary school kids. This one's done. Like we need
Yeah.
new people to kind of interact with and interspecies. That's what needs to happen, man. We need a new species that we can learn from. You know.
Yeah, and if they look a little weird with like really long fingers, who cares? That's
Maybe they don't. Maybe they're hotter than we are. We don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
They could totally. You know? Did you see Species? Remember that movie? That was a pretty hot alien.
Yeah. Yeah. They all come down. They look
We're all
like
old enough to remember that one.
They all come down. They look like Pete Davidson and Khloe Kardashian. Or
Pete's probably an alien.
Holy,
Pete's probably
he
an
is.
alien.
He is. You know, if he is an alien, he's the one that even if he's an alien, even the aliens are pissed. Where the fuck did he get that job? You know, he ain't that fucking talented.
Hilarious.
I'll say this to the boy, man. Every time a comic or somebody rips on him, dude, I stand up and say, dude, I think of that time I saw him at Broadway and I said, that kid's fucking, yeah, there's no way you can tell me that kid's not funny.
You know what it is? There's a thing that he has that I don't think any of us here have, and a lot of comics that I meet don't have. Just a pure essence of being himself. And it's like, it's the hardest thing in comedy to have. I think the greatest comics have it. And those, you know, Bill Burr, there's certain people that have it. And he's just one of those guys. Nate Bargatze has it, where they're just completely themselves on stage. There's no trying to get laughs. There's no like anxiety of trying to win the crowd over. They're just themselves. And they're unique people. And they're charming, and it just all comes together. And so there's very few comedians that have that entire thing. And he's one of those guys. And he could talk about anything. He doesn't have to have jokes like we do. We have to work harder because we just don't have that thing that some of these guys have. But I mean, Nate could get up there and just read a phone book. They don't care. They just want to hear him talk.
I think that was advice Voss gave me. I've said this. Voss gave me one time when I worked with him. He says, you know, there's going to be a day you're not just saying funny jokes, you know, trying to make jokes. There's going to be days you can just say things that are funny. And, you know, and it's like the first joke I ever wrote from that was, I'm in a good mood because I fit in this shirt, you know? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's just words and saying things. It is, you know, it's like Chappelle, you know, Chappelle could just say, well, motherfucker, you know, you know what I mean? And you're just fucking dying. It's great. Well,
just being himself.
It's time for the news as a joke, everybody. This is where comedians are given headlines and some stories to look at and somehow make a ridiculous story, maybe our next topical joke or a meme or some shit, or just ends right here.
I did the homework on this. You guys go first.
You know, I'm just wondering. I should have a completion button when I send an email out. Did you read the material? Bank refuses to pay ransom to hackers.
Pay me to do these jokes.
That's right. You want to be clean? It's double, motherfucker.
About the internet.
That's what that email was. Dustin sends me an email. If you want me to be clean, it's $1,000. I'll do it for $250. If you want some knock jokes, I'll give you a couple fucking for $10. Bank refuses to pay ransom to hackers and sends dick pics instead. Boy, that takes balls.
But whose? Yeah. And whose were they though? Like, did they just pick random ones, or did like Brad from like, you know, the front, like, you know, the front of the bank? Like, did he like, I'll do it, I'll send mine or something? I mean, who did they pick? Would they just send random ones or what? I don't know. Seems crazy.
Well, first of all, I don't know if this helps, but the bank is located in Zambia. So it wasn't a guy named Cliff who sent a dick pic. And and that's why I'm sure there was some eagerness to send it. Let me send it. No, let me send it. Oh no, let me send it.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't Dougie. I was on the front in that line. Hey, can I fucking send my dick pic?
It was the good old days when you got like free pins and a frisbee at the bank. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? They used to get stuff at the bank. They had like merch.
A frisbee.
I don't know.
A frisbee.
Remember, you never got a frisbee?
No, we got toasters and hand
muffins.
No,
that's how they got you.
Hand mittens.
Well, that's how they got you in college. That's how the banks would get you to sign up for a credit card. They'd have like koozies and like frisbees, and they have a little table. You're just like ruining your life just for a koozie. You're just going in debt before you're 22.
Meanwhile, that koozie cost
T-shirt.
That koozie cost you $1,350 in interest.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that wasn't such a good idea. All right, that's good. Now this is an interesting story. There's no need to go anywhere else. Yeah, see. Porn again. I ditched my job as a priest to become a porn star at 83. Why I believe sex brings you closer to God. Well, I know she's usually saying, "Oh my God," but here's a guy he's from North Carolina. He used to be a priest, and then he discovered he was gay, and said, "You know what? I'm going to really have fun, and I'm going to have." And he doesn't. Here's the thing: you would not like this, Dustin, but if you read the story, you would realize he does this. He does. He's retired. Obviously, he's 83, but he says, "I do the gay porn." But he doesn't get paid. He's like an open micer of gay porn. He doesn't,
Yeah.
But he's clean. He's
clean
when he does it.
Yeah, he's clean.
I mean, the Catholic priests have been doing this for years. You know what I mean? Like, he's not done anything new. You know what I mean? Like, he's like trying to expose some sort of like, homosexuality in religion. I mean, come on, dude. It's like, it's been rampant for years. I mean, he's acting like he's the, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's been closeted so long. That's the thing. Imagine that you waited till you're 83 to start really fucking, But I know old people are fucking, dude. You know how I know that? Because in Florida, the company Depends. In Florida is the only state where they issue and offer G-string Depends. Where incontinence is no longer a deal breaker. Old people are fucking.
Old people are, and nursing homes, man, it's out of control. Like people, that's where they go to hook up. I mean, they're forced to be there.
Go ahead, Larry.
Well, what's his? I mean, like, not that I'm like super interested, but like, what is like, if he's doing these movies, who are the other actors? Are they younger? Are they other 83-year-old priests? Are they? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Should I be asking that? I don't even know.
Yeah, no, you should ask. And I actually sent you a few versions of the movie for you to review for us.
Oh, let me just look at those.
Well, first of all, I want to say this. At 83, I hope he's a top, because I don't think you could handle that at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of bone density? You have to be in shape to be gay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like sitting on an old. It's like sitting on a metal park. It's like sitting on a. It's like sitting on a metal park bench at the beach.
You got to be in shape.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going, but I think you got to. I don't know if 83 is where you should start.
Yeah,
it is interesting. Is it with young men, or is he doing it with and how's the guy feel when he shows up? Yeah.
Well, if he is a bottom, could they name it like one of the videos? One of the videos, if he's a bottom, could be in the ass of the father, like in the name of the father, in the ass of the father. I don't know. That could be a good.
Well, first of all, that is one of my fetishes. Is nun porn. Nun porn is very exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched a little nun porn in your day, but it's pretty great.
I went to Catholic school, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you lived it. But I like a good nun porn. It's exciting. There's something about it's not supposed to be this way, and that makes it more exciting. So I'm sure good for him. Good for him, man. At least he's living his life.
Well, listen, that's what he said in the article. If you had read it, Dustin, if you read it, he would have said. He said.
I'll read it right now. I feel bad.
I'm gonna actually watch the guy's movie.
This article about this guy.
No, it is funny. It is funny, but he says there's no reason why we should be able to lust and do all that. Well, it's kind of part of the major sins is lust and shit. So either way, live your life.
We just get all these rules thrown upon us, and it's like we don't need to live by the rules.
Listen, if you find yourself in the pits of hell in eternity just because you wanted to get a blowjob, oh well,
dude. I was Mormon. I was Mormon for 6 years, man, and it was like. I was a good Mormon too. I didn't drink. I didn't have sex. It was like this whole thing. And it's like, and then after, then when I became a comedian, it was like, this world opened up and I was like, and then I just found myself, I was like, I'm trying to just make up for time lost in my 20s. And so I just went crazy. And I was just like snorting every drug I could, going crazy with girls, whatever, because I felt like it was freedom. So I understand, a little bit about that, where you're just like, you gotta just like, life is short.
Let loose. You are let loose on the earth.
Get a ball gag, man. Life is short. Like,
I think you got it. Listen, I'm all for that. I think one way or the other, you should strike when the striking's good, right? When it happens, I think it's like people ask me why did I wait so long to get married. Well, that's why, because there was a lot of that going on, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to worry about that. My wife doesn't have to worry about naked women and me chasing ass. She just have to worry about me eating the prosciutto that's in the fridge. That's the only fucking thing that she's got to worry about.
Yeah, your wife's great. She's a champ. She's a champ.
Yeah. Man with world's first double arm transplant shares recovery journey. This poor guy, he was, what the hell happened to him? Again, he fell, obviously. He got, I think, electrical fucking jolt, and he fell off a thing. Mm. Yeah, 11,000 volts of electricity went through this guy. That never changed.
I read this, Dougie. I read this article, Dougie, because I did my homework. So, I was reading it. And
you're not really contributing much, so I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. Thanks.
At least I'm trying to get in here. I'm kidding.
Hey, I asked about what the videos were like for the 83-year-old priest. I mean,
that was a really good contribution, because
thank you. I might not even share this now. I don't think you guys deserve to hear.
Oh, stop it! Come on, brothers.
No, but nowhere in that art. I mean, they said, now I'm able to feed myself and brush my teeth, and I'm just thinking, like, can you jerk off again? Like, what is that going to be like? I mean, which hand's better now? Like, is it somebody else's? I don't know. So it's like they did nothing in that article about his recovery in that sense. That's the first thing I thought.
Doubled arm. See, I thought he had 3 arms. He just got another arm replaced.
I'll
never do this again. I swear I'll read next time. It's been a rough week.
Well, listen, I will be honest with you. I thought the same thing. And you're reading the article and you're waiting to, as a guy, now I'm like picking up things, and I'm reaching up and, paint on the fence, paint off the fence, Karate Kid shit. And I'm waiting. I'm like, all right, well, I'm sure you're happy you could fucking jerk off. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, hey, that's your time, right? There's no other more sensuous moment when you're with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's much. Listen, it helps the prostate, it helps your immune system. We don't just do this for the mere pleasure, but now you have 2 arms. But the guy did say his right arm is getting more developed, so I think that is a sign that he was jerking off.
There it is. That's why you're the champ.
Yeah. See, there you go. All right.
Hey, that's how you end the segment.
Let me ask you a question, Dustin. Again, being the joke, the comedy coach, mentor, somebody's, and I'm going to talk about stuff.
Quit that for a while, though.
Oh, did you? Yeah, because I was talking about. I wanted to write.
Working with comics are rough, man. It's like, it's just a lot of work. But I might do it again eventually. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just didn't want people flooding me.
Yeah, don't give me. He's not taking any clients. Everybody, he wasn't here.
I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of me this year.
Yeah, he's gonna be like,
I
got the school shooting joke.
Not if you get Monkey Pox. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
Monkey Pox.
Too many comics are carrying Monkey Pox. I don't know. I don't even give a shit anymore. I forgot what I was gonna say. All right, let's roll. This is a fucking great bit now. This story I just love. First of all, there's a bunch of funny components about this story. Caught on camera, a zookeeper has his finger bitten off by a lion after teasing it through the cage. Now, again, that's a very Darwinian moment. Like, yes, thank you. Look at the cat. And
was that a bank in Zimbabwe? It looks like a bank in Zimbabwe to me.
Yeah, the guys.
I feel like all your news stories are from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
This is from Jamaica.
Same thing.
A zookeeper in Jamaica.
Yeah, he's totally
recently had his finger ripped off. He must have been. And I think, Ben, we got the Twitter video.
Oh no! Oh no! He's gonna show it. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Fuck!
Maybe that wasn't such a good idea, man.
Oh my god!
I can't believe he's not saying "fuck, man."
Oh, I see his finger.
Dude, I can't watch that. That is horrible.
Yeah, why did we watch that? I thought it was just going to be a still photo or something.
It was horrific. That was
What the hell?
You
I
had
thought this was
enough
going to be a
time.
clean segment. I thought this was clean.
that was
You had enough time to turn your head, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm more terrified of nature than anything else.
Yeah.
A guy with a gun in the street, a hood guy, a gangbanger, like animals freak me out. Like we
Yeah.
went kayaking in the ocean, and there was like a manatee came up on me too close, and I freaked out. And everybody's like, "No, it's so nice." It's like, dude, I don't care, man. Have you seen its mouth? Like that thing could chew your. But it's like, so I'm afraid of nature. So somebody messing with nature like that is like just the
Yeah.
dumbest person. I mean, it's not a cat, dude. It's not a calico. It's
Yeah.
the king of the jungle, dude. It's gonna eat you.
When I watched the video, I just couldn't. I was just so amazed that he kept sticking his fingers in. Like what was he thinking? Like, okay, I'm gonna be cool and try to like brush up against it. Maybe a little bit to tease the fucking thing. No, he's sticking his finger in. Like,
Let's talk about a couple things. Let's say we're in that position. This is my instinct, because my instinct is like, there's the thing like, if a shark, you hit the shark in the nose. I would say spit or something. You know what I mean? Like I would have just been spitting or something. You would hope that you would go into some sort of survival mode. You know what I mean? Because water always freaks out cats. Hey, if you every cat I've ever had, you got a squirt gun and they run.
So, I hope you spit a lot. I hope you have a lot of spit in that mouth. Like little drizzles of spit going on a line is not going to really stop them.
No, I want to hear you. What would I'm just trying to think of something. What would you do? I mean, I don't know. Yell? I would just like growl. I don't know.
Yeah, yell. I don't think that's what you do. You yell and you die. That's all you do is yell and die. That's all.
I'm gonna die for
you do. No, I'm gonna die. I don't want. No, you can't. I can't go on. If that happens to me, if I'm dumb enough to put my finger in there and I get ripped off, I'm fucking dead. I'll kill myself.
Larry's just gonna walk into
keys?
the fucking cage.
I got my keys.
Well, this is happening so much. Like, Dougie, I live in like Southwest Florida, and this happened in Naples. What, end of 2021? Some guy stuck his arm in a tiger enclosure, and like he was one of the workers that were like after hours, like helping out. And I'm sure this wasn't the first time that he went over there. This was just the first time he got his arm ripped off. But like, it's like these people are just. I mean, like I don't feel bad for these people at all.
Well, they got that surgery now.
Like, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's the guy that has both of them. That article didn't say anything about that. Like, he lost both of his arms because one lion and one tiger ripped off his arms one day at a zoo.
Here's what I have to say. Here's what I'd like to do. Ben, I'd like to send that video of the tiger biting that guy's finger off to the man who just had his two arms replaced. And I think he's going to be really pissed to see the guy's going to put his arms up. Oh, I can't believe you fucking... yeah,
that was disturbing.
I don't think
man.
it was. I don't think it was the same guy. Yeah.
No,
don't mess with. I mean, watching Tiger King, man, made me just like, that one girl lost her arm. Like, it's just like we shouldn't be that close to animals like that.
No,
I don't believe in zoos or any of that shit. Like, I hate it all.
And like Larry said, I think let them free. Get it unless it's a big preserve and they can do it. Even then, to get them feeling better, it's terrible. But like Larry said, that's Darwinian. That's a guy that perhaps it's going to be funny now because when he's on the street in Jamaica, he's going to be like, "Hey man, you're the guy who got your finger cut off. Fuck you. Fuck."
Yeah.
I can't say fuck you, man. That's fucking great. Yeah.
Again, you're closing these segments with just
thank you, buddy. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
$1,000 a joke.
That's right. U.S. women shocked. A U.S. woman was shocked after being charged $40 for crying during her doctor's visit. That's why you always got to look at the bill. Says here that the woman's sister revealed that the healthcare center did not even evaluate her for depression or other mental illnesses, but causing more depression by charging her $40 for being a whiny bitch. And I agree with the doc there. I'm really tired of people crying all the fucking time. To me, you know what I mean? Like, enough of this fucking whiny shit. Get your fucking shit together. You know what I mean? I mean,
I think they should have.
What kind of doctor was it?
What the fuck?
Oh,
Let me see. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what
Go
does it
ahead,
say anything about
Dustin,
what
as I look
doctor it
up.
was? Oh, sorry, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know
Uh,
what it was. No, no big deal. I mean, well, a couple of things. First of all, it's just like, I mean, having to deal with a crying woman. I mean, that's one of the most horrible things. You
Yeah.
know, nobody wants to. It's a lot,
yeah.
No.
and I'm sure they were consoling her, and so you should pay for that. You know, you don't just get
Yeah.
that for free. You know, that's somebody's time. How long is that? That could have been an hour. They had to like calm her down. So I think they should pay for that. That's technically therapy. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is like I love the idea of charging people for ridiculous behavior. Like how great would it be to fine people at comedy clubs for heckling? You know, it's like after the third one, it's $50 to out on your bill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like things like that. Like we should, you know, when people are just irrational and crazy, charge them. I like that.
Yeah.
I think we're onto something. I'm going to pitch that
Hey.
to the comedy union,
All right. Let me
the comedy
let me
foundation.
let me add a little legalese to the potential the contractual aspect of what that could be. So
Please.
instead of just hitting somebody on it, there would be a disclaimer before every show. If you get thrown out, not only will you be responsible for your tab, but everybody else's tab in the building for fucking up
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Whatever
they're
that
there
bar
to see
tab
the
is.
show and you ruin their experience.
You just
Yeah,
fucking ruin it.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
$1,000 bar
experience.
tab, that's your fine for being a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I think you could do that because the comedy club is its own entity. You could do whatever you want. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Coyote Ugly has
Well, if you guys would stop doing these
waitresses.
dirty shows all the time, maybe people wouldn't heckle. If you could just stick to clean and not be so dirty all the time, Jesus.
We only do $1,000 shows, so it's been pretty
Yeah.
clean lately. I don't shine shoes no more.
No, it's good.
That's right, man. Well, fuck. Yeah, Brian Sclera had a great point on our show one time. He talked about like why is there Brian Sclera hates fucking hecklers, and
Oh, I
it's
know.
always funny because he's an actor and a comic, so he says that's why I love acting because when you're doing a role, nobody screams from behind the fucking screen, "You're a fucking idiot," you know, while you're doing a role. Hilarious. But he had a great point because almost every TV show you see, every movie you see that has comedy involved, there's a heckler scene. There's somebody who has to fucking say something, you know, or shit like that.
So true.
You know, and you know that as we close the show today, you know, with all the things that happened, you know, of course, with Chris Rock, and then what happened to Dave Chappelle. I think the recent thing, the guy who tried to tackle Dave Chappelle and did it miserably, true snowflake. He said that he was triggered by some of his jokes. And another story that just came out, by the way, was Mulaney had Chappelle show up and do a spot. And I guess John Mulaney has a very large LGBTQ community because, you know, he was getting shit because he let Dave Chappelle open for him. And they couldn't understand it. And you see that story?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was reading
first
the
of all,
on
the
one.
Dave,
I was reading.
well, the Dave Chappelle thing, it's like, first of all, that guy changed his tune because originally he didn't say that, but then when some lawyers got involved, they were like, "All right, you got to act like you were triggered from the material that he does. It's offensive." And so they cultivate that whole thing. So now that's what it is. Before it wasn't that. He was just a maniac, just going after him. But yeah, I mean, I've been attacked on stage. I mean, Dougie, you're like a black belt, so I fear for anybody coming up on your stage.
I'm just waiting, dude. I'm just fucking waiting.
You're waiting. You've just been waiting your whole life. You've been training for this.
It's gonna happen in slow motion, dude. It's gonna happen in slow motion. Some fucking hooplehead's gonna come from the first row.
He's like,
It's gonna be like,
I know. I was going to set that up just so you can go viral. I'm just gonna like just have pay some guy to attack you, and you'll thank me later.
And if anyone comes to my shows, I'm in trouble. So because I can't do shit.
Yeah. Well, I got attacked one time, and I was drunk because I was doing shots, and it was like I had no business doing the show. And then it's like one of those things where I show up to the show. And it's like, you ever see a show where it's like you're going on later and then you see a guy messing with everybody. So by the time you get up, you're just angry because you've seen him messing with all the other comedians. And so before you even grab the microphone, you just hate this crowd. And so it's like one of those situations. And, you know, I said something I should have said to him. It was a little offensive, whatever. And I was like, shut up, stupid, whatever. And then he just hits me in the side of the head. I'm kind of drunk, so I don't really know what's happening. Hits me again, and my watch shatters and the whole thing. And there was no security. It was just like, it was actually, the security was somebody who was in transitioning. so, so there's no help. We've all played that club.
Yeah,
And
the
so,
real muscle, the real muscle in the club.
and then the
Transitioning to a
comedians didn't
bodyguard,
help
or
me out.
no?
There's
She
nothing.
was
There was nothing.
transitioning to a bodyguard.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't want to say that much because I know certain people watch this show, but I'm
Yeah, don't
just
put
saying
that together.
it
This
was
has
a
nothing
bad
to do
thing.
with the reality of it.
Yeah,
That's
nothing to
funny.
do with reality. But but then it's so I think security is a huge issue in comedy, and
Yeah.
when you especially when you add it, alcohol, it's like you're adding to the flame. It's like
Well,
you
listen,
gotta have security.
speaking of adding, we don't want to add more cost to the comedy club to pay us fucking less. Okay. Can you imagine?
Yeah, we do.
We need to,
I would rather get
yeah,
paid less and have somebody
yeah,
make sure that I can do the jokes I'm there to do, because it's not about the comedy clubs. It's about theaters and
Yeah.
bigger shit. So we're
yeah,
just there to work. And so when guys won't let us work and get that material to the next level, it's hurting
yeah.
us in the long run on money, because it's, you know what I
And
mean?
I
It's like, I don't know.
and Dougie, I don't even really understand your question because, like, seriously, as a comic though, too, you said like, John Mulaney has a big, following for that community, and like, why would he bring Dave Chappelle? The reason is because Dave Chappelle doesn't have hate. He does jokes about maybe trans people, but John Mulaney knows these are jokes, and a rational, regular person who can take a joke, you know, can have no problem with a comic coming on stage, no matter what audience it is, and telling a
Yeah.
joke about everyday life, about things that affect people. And so John Mulaney knows that, you know what I mean? And so one random, crazy person in the crowd that wants to attack people over every single thing that they're triggered, they're the problem. It's not
Yeah.
like John Mulaney shouldn't bring up on stage somebody that he doesn't, that he wants
Yeah.
to have on stage because it's going to trigger somebody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And how is this a new thing? Every black comic I've ever seen is pretty much homophobic on stage. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
how is this a new thing? Watch BET comic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares. It's like they've
Well,
been through enough. They can say what they want.
yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Here's
It's
the
like,
thing. Here's the thing I think is true, and I try to remind myself of this. And when things like this happen, there's always that outer fringe. So the people that tweeted and some of the tweets I was reading through with that story, and the people that are like, "Oh, he's homophobic, he's this and that." You're like, "No, he's not. He's a comic, and he's reacting to real life situations and opinions and feelings, and and deal with it. I and it's and it's amazing to me. So, but there's that fringe because I personally don't think I would guess if in fact if we can pull the entire transgender community, I would assume there's a majority of them that would say it's fucking funny. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be
most
just
of them
like
are in
anybody
Key
else.
West. So if you want to go out there,
And I'd really like to find out that one transgender chick I met in South Beach at one time when I was high on Molly. I
no,
hope she
but
hasn't
you're
told
exactly,
anybody.
both of you are exactly right. And it's just like, it's comedy, like the beginning of the show where we talked about comedy. You should be able to talk about anything. You should be able to make
Yeah.
anything funny. And the thing is even in Dave Chappelle's jokes, it's about his friend talking to them. So he obviously has a relationship with someone. Like it's an intimate, real thing that he's explaining as he's on stage. And so it's like people just get trigger word, and they're just like, "Oh, it's this and that," and you're hateful. I get it all the time. I'm an edgy guy, and so like they don't hear the whole joke, and it's like you're not hearing where I'm coming from. You're just hearing something that you think you're supposed to be offended by. And we've been saying this for years, but
Yeah. Let me ask you
seems
something.
to be getting worse.
Let me ask you, Dustin. You see that because when I'm telling jokes like that, now it's funny because I can see somebody in the crowd. Some people be smiling, laughing, and you see some people just looking at you're looking at them. They're going like they're looking at you like, oh, here it comes. You see that shit, and you almost stop and I'm gonna keep fucking telling this joke. It don't matter.
No, that's why I like a dark room. I like the lights. I don't want to see the crowd. That's why like Dangerfields is always amazing because you couldn't see anything, so you can just say whatever, and you didn't see their faces. I hate looking at them.
Yeah, that's funny.
In this case too, like in this person's defense too, this was like the first incident that I can think of someone being triggered about something that affected them. Usually, it's the people that you're not even talking about who get triggered for this other part of other part of our society or part of other culture or sexual orientation or whatever. It's usually the people that are not even that
Larry,
are
Larry,
freaking out about everything.
Larry, those people you're talking about are white women. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's face it.
absolutely.
They're the
Every
ones.
single time. So this is
Well,
like the first one that wasn't, unless they're transitioning
Yeah.
into a white woman. So
yeah. Well, I think the most offensive thing about this story is the fact that Dave Chappelle, is opening for John Mulaney.
You want
That
me to
offends
open up
me
for
the
you,
most.
motherfucker?
That's funny.
Wait a minute, I'm not closing this out. No. Okay. All right. Better be able to follow me, motherfucker.
Rich. I love how we're doing
could
Dave
you
Chappelle
imagine
from
you're
like
fucking
20 years
doing a
ago.
show? Can you imagine doing a show and fucking finding out, oh, Dave Chappelle's going to come to a spot before you?
Yeah, he's gonna open. He's gonna do a guest before you go. I mean, I've had guys I've had drop-ins do that, but that's unbelievable. That's the last person I want. That is like the
Who's
one
the
person
hard?
you're like, who would you not want to follow?
That's fucking. Who's the hardest person you ever followed, Larry?
I follow people. You think?
He's like everyone.
every single person. I don't even. Is that a trick question? Yeah.
Dude, listen. Have you ever been in that situation when you're in the green room, like, and something like that, and let's say a guest spot and somebody's just fucking crushing, and whoever's next is going, oh my god, start standing up, and they start fucking stretching and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna go tell jokes or fucking join the decathlon? Anyway, folks, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank Dustin Chafin and Larry Venturino for joining us today. Larry, what do you got coming
you're
up?
welcome. Well, I'm actually. What are you laughing about that for? I'm actually heading to New England in June. I'm going to be doing shows in Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. I'm actually going to be in Miami. I don't know who's seen this in Florida or whatever, but I'll be in Miami on June 11th. But I'm also going to be at the Comedy Park, headline the Comedy Park in Cranston, Rhode Island on June 26th. I'll be at earlier that week. I'll be at Mohegan Sun, Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, and I'll also be up near Portland, Maine. So that's the kind of the next stuff I'm getting ready for to travel up there.
Cool. Nice,
great. Sounds like a fun run.
Thank you.
You could catch me next weekend. I will be at a new comedy club I've never played before called the Comedy Drop. It's in South Bend, Indiana. I think that's where Notre Dame is. So yeah, check me out there Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and the 4th. And I'll be in Los Angeles. I'll be let's see, where am I going to be? The Haha Comedy Club, and I'll be at Flappers in Burbank. And also I'll be with Nate Bargatze on the 24th and 25th. We'll be in Reno, Nevada, at some big, nice, fancy theater. So yeah, come check us out.
And by the way, I have a theory about Reno, Nevada. If you're ever in downtown Reno, I have a theory that over 50%, if not more, of the people in Reno have a limp. Fucking, you tell me I'm wrong, dude. When you fucking go there, you tell me I'm wrong. You're gonna look around. Oh, fucking kids limping.
They're messing with animals at the zoo, Dougie. That's what they're doing.
A lot of people keep trying to kick the bucket and miss. Motherfucker, who moved the bucket?
Monkey Pox.
Well, yeah, that's awesome, dude, and that's great. Well, you guys, we'd love to go see these folks. They're very funny. The Drop Comedy Club, new room. The girls from the Drift Comedy Productions, Productions, great comedy festivals. If you're ever part of it, Drift, great new room in San Diego. I am going to be June 1st to the 4th. My first time headlining the Looney Bin in Oklahoma City. So if you're in the area, come out to that. Big show to come out to. Go to DougieAlmeida.com for more dates. That's it, folks. I want to thank again Dustin Chafin and Larry Venturino for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to us on our YouTube channels and, of course, our fan page on Facebook. Aside from that, God bless everyone. Take care and laugh as much as you can. See you then.